Back in 2010, Kesha still had a dollar sign, Taylor Swift was still making country music, and Shawn Mendes was in grade 7. Let's take a look back on how music has changed over the past decade. Hey guys, Dani here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. This past decade of music has arguably been the most rapidly changing decade of music in history. If you take a look at any other period in history, the 60s,
And you got that something I think you'll understand.
the 80s, the 90s, they all have a distinct sound for that decade. But what about the 2010s? What represents this decade? Is it Tik Tok, Shape of You, What Makes You Beautiful, Anything by Drake? The reason for such a large shift is due to the democratization of music. No longer do we have a few executives, radio stations, and MTV controlling what we can listen to and what we hear and what we're exposed to. Music began to be distributed on iTunes, YouTube, and later streaming, giving rise to artists like Shawn Mendes and Justin Bieber. Music has also become more global. It is still very US-centric, but we have opened the floodgates for audiences all around the world to reach musicians all around the world. Boy bands and girl groups have dominated the charts through the last decade. We got the return of Beatlemania in the form of One Direction, which eventually gave way to the rise of K-pop and all of the bands that they have. Hip-hop and R&B has always been brewing at the foundation of the music scene, but through this past decade, they have finally become mainstream and dominated the Billboard charts. We have gotten new subgenres like trap and mumble rap, and they have even crossed over into country music. Country music has had an identity crisis over the last decade. More than ever, we are hearing the term real country, as country artists have taken elements from other genres and incorporated it into country music. At first, it was country pop, which can be best shown through the rise and stardom of Taylor Swift. But then it became a lot of bro country. Bro country added a lot of hip hop elements into their music, and this also made the country scene very male dominant. But in most recent years, the women have come back with a vengeance, and country is sort of having a rebirth or reorganization into specific categories and specific subgenres. Electronic music has made a major comeback since its 1970s disco days and has also been pretty prevalent on the Billboard charts. A lot of the elements of electronic music have also been put into other genres as the genres are beginning to blend. You're also getting a lot of more folky, indie, and alternative bands who are able to, through, like I said, the globalization and democratization of music, break into the charts and either have really big hits or have really successful, sustainable careers. Soundtrack songs have also weirdly been everywhere on the charts over the past couple of years, generally being the song of the summer every single year. It's strange, but also good because that means that we're getting better music in movies, which is so good that it's going onto the charts and people are enjoying it that much, but it's also just a really strange phenomenon. Lastly, we have honestly lost way too many people and legends and emerging artists in the last decade due to, tragic accidents, drug overdoses, and other situations, which has been heartbreaking. I honestly think that when we look back on this decade of music, it will be the catalyst for huge and major shifts and changes in the music industry. And I think that we will be seeing a lot more of these shifts and changes, and the changes becoming way more clear over the next couple of years. For me, I think what best describes this past decade of music is what's old is new. Whether it be through boy bands coming back or just the fact that people are being able to listen to music that they never were able to before, and a lot of the old music that they were never able to before, and they're taking that stuff and letting it influence their new music. So you're getting a lot of pops and flavors of old things coming back into new and modern music. And I think this will continue to happen over the next following years. I also think in the next couple of years, we will see a breakdown in the concept of genres. Like I said, people are taking inspiration from a whole different bunch of places because they have access to it now. So you're going to get a lot of mixing and a homogenizing of different forms of music. And at a certain point, we're going to have to get rid of the concept of genres altogether, because these rigid boxes that music is being put into will not be able to sustain all of the different influences that people are taking in and the different sounds. I think that artists will begin to create unique and personal experiences for their audiences because of the fact that mechanical sales have been on the decline and probably will continue to be on the decline. Artists will have to find new and inventive ways to not only connect with their audiences, but also to make more income. I have made multiple videos about music streaming and my thoughts on music streaming, but the reality is music streaming does not pay the same that physical CDs or vinyls used to pay for artists, which means they're not making as much money, which means they're not making a living. So I think in the next couple of years, we will find that people are finding these new, strange, and awesome and cool ways to connect with their audiences and make direct revenue streams from the artists themselves to the fans. For myself personally, I think that the next year will see me finally releasing some of my original music. I have spent the last year working very hard and writing a lot of songs, which I cannot wait to share with you. And I also want to take the time to advocate a lot more for the things that I'm super passionate about. Let me know what your favorite song over the past decade has been, and what you think the future of music will look like in the coming years. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to click that subscribe button for weekly music content. I will see you guys again next week. Bye.